There's been other similar things. There's some bars that have board games. There's other kind of like nerdy culture restaurants around town too. But specifically Board Game Cafe, we are going to be the first. The people who are already like super into board games, they're not actually really our customers as much. Like they're not the people we're going after. I used to be a really competitive person. I would be playing games, you know, it's all about winning and all of that. But in teaching games all the time, I've kind of forgotten how to win games. I don't know how else to say it. Like the competitive side, that's not what I enjoy about them anymore. Is just getting people into it and seeing their eyes open up is really cool, and it's really fulfilling.
I kind of have this theory about play generally. Just like I'm a teacher is what I do now. I'm a private tutor, and I play games with some of my kids, particularly kids that like kind of struggle to keep with it, and I find it to be really helpful. And I think like getting somebody to play just has this really profound effect on both how they learn, but also just how they socialize and how they interact with people.
We get a lot of people who come out. Last time they played something was like they played Monopoly at Thanksgiving 3 years ago with their family. I don't plan on having a copy of Monopoly in the cafe. Monopoly is like one of the greatest selling games of all time. It's not a good game though, it's not enjoyable. We don't just have a shelf of dingy games on the wall and we're a cafe that happens to have that shelf. No, we're gonna have staff to teach them, and we're gonna hand select all the games in the cafe. We're gonna have a library of them, 300-400 maybe.
So I'm from a suburb outside of Kansas City, and space is a lot. You take space for granted. You move to a big city like Chicago, you just don't have that space. Having a cafe set up where people can just come hang out and like there is a table available, there is space, that's a big deal in a city like this.
It's not enough for us to just be a cafe with a shelf of games. Like we have to teach them, and we have to make sure it's an enjoyable experience. That whole thing is, we need to make sure it is honed in as possible, that you're just having a great time. And so if you're sitting there and you're having to read a rule book, that we're doing something wrong. If you're sitting there and you're waiting for me to talk about the game for 15 minutes, because that's how long it takes to teach it, I'm probably doing something wrong, and I can teach it faster. And that's kind of interesting part too. A lot of like gamers they want to know all the rules up front, but for a lot of games, that's not really the best way to teach them. So.